Mark Tatum, Deputy Commissioner and COO of the National Basketball Association.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Dr. Richard Lapchick, thanks for being with us here on R&R on Sports.
Thank you for having me.
Civil rights icon, Dr. Edwards, how are you today?
I'm doing a heck of a lot better than I deserve, I'll tell you that.
Sports commentator, Scoop Jackson.
Good to be back on with you all.
Ken Griffey Jr., how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How about you guys?
It's R&R on Sports.
R&R on Sports. R&R on R&R.
Hello and welcome back.
Are we back?
Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to R&R on Sports. I'm Howard Robertson.
I am the great one, Larry Robinson. What's up with you, brother?
What's up, man? Where you been?
Listen. We've been on vacation. We've been chilling. I've been in the south of France. Now more like South Memphis, but nevertheless, I've been running around the world in my mind and all kind of stuff. I've been on beaches. I've been swimming with the dolphins and everything.
I actually have.
Did you?
Yeah.
Dolphins didn't have COVID?
West. We went out west. I don't know. They didn't mention it.
Straight up, dolphins don't have COVID, man. I just knew that the dolphins would have COVID.
I don't know.
COVID-19.
I didn't ask.
They might be bringing in COVID-20.
But no, man, took a great vacation out west.
Okay.
Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and ended up in San Diego.
Oh, wow.
Hey, man, it was nice.
Big balling in Can.
It was nice. I got family out there, man, and including my 95-year-old aunt.
Woo-woo!
And, oh man, it was beautiful. She has become my grandmother.
Oh, yeah?
Me and my grandmother were tight. And so she has become her. She sounds like her. She looks like her. And all of that. So a beautiful, beautiful time. So
well, it's a beautiful thing, man.
We're glad to be back.
You took like the family out there. You had the whole crew.
We always do that.
That is a beautiful thing.
That's my daughter, my granddaughter, my sons, my wife, of course, and anybody else. And that stems from the way we used to take vacations when my kids were growing up.
Okay.
We used to take my mother, my father, and my mother-in-law, Bev's mama, and all the kids on a trip. All that was our entourage.
Y'all do that every year?
Yeah, we did do that every year.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Black love, black family, all that good stuff.
There you go.
But listen, man, listen. I know we've been out. A lot of things have happened, but you are listening to R&R on Sport.
Back.
And we are back in the house. And listen, man, R&R does not stand for rest and relaxation, but I guess it could.
What did it mean?
But it means R&R means Robertson and Robinson.
Okay.
And I put the Robertson first because I'm going to give a little deference to the old old member of Kappa Alpha Psi.
ROBE comes before ROBI.
Well, we're not talking about alphabetically.
Okay.
We're talking about just in pure swagger and greatness.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
you know, it is
So you
age
put the
before beauty. Age before beauty. Age before
Straighten
beauty.
it out. Straighten it out.
Well, listen, man, you know, you can check out all of our shows. Now, listen to me. You can check out all of our shows on podcasts. Go to Stitcher, go to TuneIn app, go to Spotify, go to Google Podcast. Any of those places.
Go to Apple Podcasts.
Any of those places, wherever you get your podcasts,
Spotify.
And go and check out. Man, we got shows with Jim Brown, Dr. J, Ken Griffey Jr. We got some historic shows. Tommy Smith, John Carlos. I'm telling you,
Jones.
We bringing it, man. We bringing it for y'all, and we gonna bring it in this season, which is it's about season 8 now.
Is it?
It's about season 8.
No, time flies.
Man, time flies when you're having fun. So here we are doing some amazing stuff, and we are here on R&R.
So much to catch up on. So much has happened since we have not been on
since
the
you was all out in California and marijuana's is legal. Did you happen to partake in it while you was out there?
No.
Well, I was thinking about Shikari because.
We're gonna talk about that.
Because Shikari must have smoked before this race
We're gonna talk about the 6th fastest woman.
Because she got smoked up in that mother.
And then came out talking smack.
They smoked her like the best
We're going to talk
Snoop Dogg
Olympics.
strain.
We're going to talk Olympics. We're going to talk gymnastics. We're going to talk baseball. We're going to talk track. We're going to talk
hold on.
all
Before
kinds
we
of
get
stuff.
all of that, we need to talk to our boy Al Harrington. You know, he got a weed company that's doing pretty well called Viola.
Why you stuck in weed?
Well, I'm just thinking about Chicago because I think he might have gave us some of that super bubonic chronic. And it just slowed her down, made her feel like she was running in water. She was thinking she was moving fast, but she wasn't moving that fast. She was moving slow. And then she looked up, and when she came to, she was in 9th place.
You're listening to R&R on Sports on the Kazukian Network, and we will be back for more. Don't you go nowhere right after this.
Hey, this is Dr. J,
This is Shakadocious.
Yo, what's up? This is Ice Cube.
and you're listening to a little R&R on Sports.
This is Larry Robinson with R&R on Sports, and we're on location to interview former Ole Miss player Laramie Tunsil, recently drafted by the Miami Dolphins. Wait a minute. We're going to find this part. Okay, here it is. Front door, apartment 420.
I'm in love with Mary Jane. She's my main thing. When I put my gas mask on, she make my head bang. Who that?
Well, hey, I'm sorry. Mr. Tunsil is not in.
I'm Larry Robinson with R&R on Sports, and I can hear him singing. What are you talking about?
Dang, Laramie, how you gonna tell me to tell somebody you ain't here when they hear you back there hollering like a hog collar?
Larry, come on in here, man. Quit dripping, girl. This is my Negro right here. What up, dog?
Hey, Laramie, just a few questions our listeners want answers to.
Yeah, dog, ask me whatever. Oh, this is my girl Heifer.
It's Heather! H-E-A-T-H-E-R, Heather Lynch!
I said Heifer.
Heather.
Heifer.
First question, Laramie. You fell to 13th in the NFL draft, and it's estimated you lost about $10 million. How does that make you feel?
How'd you feel when you had that $10 million and lost it?
I never had $10 million, Laramie.
Me neither. But it's a dream come true. You know what I'm saying? I worked hard playing the game of football since I was little. Well, I really wasn't little, but young, always protecting. I be blocking for the QB and the running backs. And I didn't think anybody noticed the work I was putting in since they got all the credit. You know what I'm saying? But all that stuff is played, and now Laramie about to get paid.
Ooh, I know that's right, baby. You about to blow up. Ooh, show him the mask. Woohoo!
But are you still smoking? On that video of you, a Confederate flag is in plain view and on the wall over your head. Were you aware of that at the time?
Excuse me, do you have a problem with the state flag of Mississippi?
Wearing something over my head? Man, I wasn't even aware I had a head, because that thing blew my head off. But I don't smoke nothing now. I just eat my green vegetables.
Green vegetables?
Yeah, here, have some of this broccoli.
No broccoli for me, Laramie.
Ooh, can I have some broccoli? Broccoli.
Yeah, but first I need you to call Coach and tell him I still need money to pay my rent and Mama needs some more weave. Not that synthetic stuff. Order her about 6 yards of their best from her. You feel me, Heifer?
It's Heather. H-E-A-T-H-E-R. I got you, baby.
It's R&R on Sports.
I love games, board games, comics, beautiful things that portray black girls as soft and whimsical and cotton candy flowers. And so that is what I bring to the show, as well as cuss words for these raggedy when they need them.
Oh, my
Such
goodness.
as this raggedy that we getting ready to introduce you to right now.
Oh, my
This red
goodness.
fox looking,
Oh.
this bald head, confident talking about Richard
Goodness.
Douglas Jones.
My goodness, this is the worst intro I've ever had in my life, ladies and gentlemen. Black Nerd Power on the Kazukian Network.
I'm number 6. I'm number 6. I'm number 6.
Not 5, but number 6.
We're back on R&R on Sports. And literally,
Who
man.
brags about
wait a minute,
that?
literally. I was thinking the other day, and I was thinking about really how far I've come as a sports journalist, sports media personality. And I must say that I must be about I must say I'm about 25. I'm one of the top 25. I'm number 25, America.
70.
I'm the 25th
75.
best sports.
75. But be proud of it.
Be proud.
Own
Be
it.
proud. Own it.
Own it.
All right.
So let's just go on. This is low hanging fruit. Let's just go on and get this out of the way.
Okay.
All right. Sha'Carri, let me holler at you. Okay.
Learn us something, man. Learn us something.
America, the world, is a pretty tough place. Yeah, you showed up in the trials and you made it. You made it time-wise, okay, to go to the Olympics. And we ain't going to get into this. It was very, very unfortunate that what happened and you couldn't go. But they tell me that had you gone, if you hadn't run the same time that you ran in the trials, you possibly would have gotten a bronze.
Number
at
6.
Best, and that's possibly, and that depends on how everybody else ran.
Right, because they could have had their best day ever.
Because these ladies from Jamaica
Hey,
ain't playing.
Hey, man.
Ain't playing.
They gave us some of that good Kingston marijuana. What they did, they slipped to that Kingston.
And you know,
that Kingston cool out.
Who's to say that they ain't smoking too?
They just got a different strain.
But they smoking two ways. They got a double joint.
Oh yeah, buddy, and might be double jointed.
I love it. So look, baby, you got to perform. You can't just talk smack. You got to walk. In your case, run the talk.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's all we're gonna say.
Don't let your mouth write a check that your feet can't cash. Your feet can't cash because your feet ain't cashing them now.
Okay.
All right, now let's move on.
Olympics were really quite something. What do you think about all of the stuff and hoorah and whatnot about the break that our girl took?
Who? What you mean? Which one? Who you talking about?
I am talking about the greatest gymnast in the world, in history.
No, the greatest gymnast in history, bro. I want you to put some respect on her name. You was beating around and talking about my girl. This ain't our girl. This is the GOAT of gymnastics. You know, this is the GOAT.
Okay, say her name.
You know, her name is Simone Biles.
That's Miss Biles.
Absolutely, and Miss Biles if you're nasty. But Miss Biles, you deserve the ability to take a break if you need to. And if you got the twisties, which other gymnasts have really come back and talked about, hey man, chill. You earned the right. You earned the right to chill. And I am 100% behind you. And what you got to say about that?
Well, what I got to say about it is I was talking to my college roommate who was also a fellow lifeguard with me when we were in high school and we were lifeguards.
Okay.
We used to love to dive, and we could dive. And there would indeed be times, I can relate to the twisties because there would indeed be times that we would get up in the air after springing the diving board. Right. You're only supposed to spring once.
Right.
Even the Olympics.
Now we doing 2, 3 of them.
No, we doing
especially in the hood. Yeah, we getting that super height.
And you got that super height and you get up there and forget all about what you're doing.
I had one of those.
That is the most dangerous thing ever.
I had one of those moments. I'm going to tell you what happened. I was going to do a 1.5 gainer. Came off the board and lost where I was in the air.
Yes.
And let me tell you.
We're doing a gainer?
When I came out, I swear I thought my face was split from the top of my head all the way down to my chin. No, I hit the water. My face hit the water. Because I didn't know I didn't know where I was on the spin. I didn't know where I was and I was coming out of the spin, but I hit the water too fast because I just didn't. I got discombobulated and smack.
Right. And when you're doing twists and rotating backwards, backflips and It's easy to do. So take care of yourself. That's what I say
Absolutely.
to Simone.
Mental
That's
health.
what I say to Osaka.
Amen.
Take care of yourself. This world does not care about you.
Right.
Okay?
Absolutely.
All of that's false.
I think it's amazing.
You got to take care of yourself.
I think it's amazing that young people are showing, specifically the black community, to pay attention to mental health. Because, I've been a mental health professional years ago in a previous life, and it was really interesting to see how black people did not respect mental health at all. It was always something about go pray about it.
Or something you just didn't mention.
Right. Or something you didn't mention.
Equate,
Depression and
we equate mental health with a bad word in our community that we use too much and would being crazy.
Yeah.
That's what we call. I mean, he crazy.
Yeah, just pray about it.
Yeah.
Pray for him. Pray for him.
Yeah.
Pray for him. Now go to the doctor and get some medicine. Just like your brain is just like any other muscle, just like any other organ. If you got heart problems, you ain't gonna pray about it.
You know about getting that medicine, don't you?
Oh yes, sir. I do know about that medicine.
For those of you who might not know, my partner on this show in a previous life was the leading Prozac salesman.
Hey man, they ain't pay for no sponsorship
in America.
Just say I sold a very important antipsychotic and an antidepressant. Let's leave it at that.
And
let's keep moving.
A whole hell of a lot of.
Yes, I did. I made a
whole lot.
I made a good living.
All right. Just a little background information.
Man, wait a minute. We gotta hurry up, man. Okay. We got things like the NBA final.
NBA final,
and what you think about the Greek Freak? Would you tell me something about the Greek Freak?
Loved watching him. Loved the heart that he went in. It's well deserved, and I'm happy for him.
He has a youthful exuberance.
Absolutely.
That I just absolutely love at this level. It is like I love playing the game, and I love working hard, and I love competing, and I'm gonna compete to the end, and whatever it takes. I'm going to get it done. If not, I'm going to come back and we're going to do it again. And I love that about him. And he's doing it all with a smile.
Everybody had thought that he was done.
Yes.
Okay. So I was watching out in L.A. and somebody said and mentioned that they equated Chris Paul with what is known as, let's see, what do they call it? A choke artist. Do you agree?
Well, I think that's an inappropriate designation. I think that he has not made it to the finals previously. I think the pressure may have been a little bit more than may have anticipated. However, this was his first time getting there.
Can you track what happened to key mistakes that he specifically made?
Oh, no, he played horribly. I mean, in some very key games and at key times, he made some terrible turnovers. Very unlike the general, the point guard, as he's called. I think the right team won. I think Chris Paul will be back next year, leading that same young group of folks. But I'm just proud of the Bucks.
Real quickly, I want to mention how proud I am of Major League Baseball. The Field of Dreams game was phenomenal, and they got to do that kind of stuff to really, really get baseball back on track and at the level of popularity that it was, and that was not only was it a phenomenal game, but the setting, them coming out of that dadgum corn was most excellent.
Really?
Most excellent, man. And go White Sox. White Sox playing some serious. They putting the ball over the fence.
Listen, man, we're going to come back with more on R&R on Sports. But listen, after this, we got a great interview. The book by Matt Sullivan, Can't Knock the Hustle, talking about the Brooklyn Nets, talking about the way it all came together. Listen, man, you do not want to miss this interview. I just wish my boy Uncle H was here because I think it would have been even better. But listen, don't go nowhere. Stay here because we got, after the break, Matt Sullivan, author, Can't Knock the Hustle, right here on R&R on Sports, right after this.
R&R on Sports.
I was trying out with the Portland Trail Blazers. thought I made the team. 2 o'clock in the morning, I get a phone call in my hotel, so I know that's not good. So I've been cutting.
Not at 2 o'clock in the morning, man.
And, he was cool about it. I mean, obviously they liked me and wanted to keep me, but tell me what flight I'm on so I can get back home.
Good. I can get out of here.
So I can get out of here.
It's R&R on sports.
And we are back on R&R on Sports. And you can tell, the best person is announcing the segment because that other dude, he's no longer here. So we sent him on his way. And by the way, we're talking about Howard Robertson. He's on vacation this week, but I get the pleasure of talking to one of the baddest up-and-coming writers, new authors. He's not a new author, but this book that he's written, Can't Knock the Hustle, I tell you guys, you've got to go check it out. Listen, we're talking to former Bleacher Report editor, Matt Sullivan. What's up, Matt?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, it's a pleasure. So first off, we got to get to your journey. So how did you get to writing Can't Knock the Hustle? Tell us about you play ball in high school. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I, like many a sports journalist, was a failed JV basketball player. Despite years of my father driving me back and forth to camp, I was as pathetic as my Knicks fandom has been throughout my life.
Okay.
And so when I stopped hooping, I wrote this like legendary for my high school basketball game story on this kid who would eventually go to Louisville hitting a half-court buzzer beater. And I submitted it.
What kid went to Louisville? Wait a minute now. I'm from Louisville.
This kid, Will Scotty, transferred. He was just the kid they brought in to hit free throws at the end.
Okay.
But I wrote this story and submitted it to Vanderbilt, which had a sports writing scholarship for Grantland Rice. They randomly give a ton of money to kids who want to be sports writers. My mother made me turn it down to go to Duke, where I covered the basketball team, got to know a lot of those guys. And I came up in magazines, worked at Hearst for a while, at Popular Mechanics. I ran digital at Esquire, worked for The Atlantic, running a newsroom there, worked at the New York Times on more opinion side, technology side, went to The Guardian, where I did all sorts of investigations on very non-sports things like police killings, helped free a woman from prison, and then ended up at Bleacher Report, which wanted to create meaningful journalism for its huge fire hose of millions of people. So we started a long-form kind of brand there called BR Mag, brought in a lot of fancy writers to cover a lot of off-the-court stuff, which really informed my knowledge heading into this project, which who knew that it would become like the history books, right? I just kind of fell into it by asking those big, important off-the-court questions.
Man, so you're from New York, right?
Born and raised, right?
Brooklyn?
Brooklyn. Upper West Side, and then Brooklyn for my post-Duke life, yeah.
Okay. All right, so you're from New York. You got to be a Knicks fan.
I still have memories of my father paying God knows what scalper prices to take me to Game 7 when Spreewell was going off, the shot clocks broke, and they had to break out some backups and put them on the floor. Tim Duncan and Robinson were going crazy. And I was at that game where the Knicks lost the finals at home. You know how deflating that is? People are heading out, but they kind of want to see the championship ceremony, IRL. And that was both the high and the low of my Knicks fandom. Okay. I was at the Larry Johnson L game with his fist
4-point play,
and the other arm crossed. Exactly. I was at a Linsanity game where he went off courtside. My friend gave me tickets, but yeah, I've been following the Knicks forever. And it helped when my mom made me go to Duke, because in New York you don't have a college team, and so that's kind of it sucks. It's like being born into a Yankees family or something. I hated Duke growing up, but now I have the excuse to root for them for the rest of my life.
But didn't we all hate Duke growing up, except people in North Carolina?
Facts.
But so let's get to some hoop, man. You a big hoops fan? Give me your state of the NBA. Is the NBA a stock you'd buy, or a stock you'd hold, or a stock you'd sell?
I think it is an economy of personality, of influence. And as a fan, I think you buy into players, right? The NBA is like a container for personality. Okay. It is a provider that realizes that the players are the league. I would sell NFL stock where that script is flipped, where you got a lot of white billionaire owners who look at their honestly, their players sometimes as property. You got these shorter contracts and a lot of young black men from the South who are treated with that, what some people would call a plantation mentality. The NBA is where players become heroes in our feeds, in our 365, 24/7 love of the NBA. And a lot of that isn't even on the court stuff. And I thought that was why there was a full, rich book to be done with the Nets as kind of a proxy for the entire NBA for the last 10 years of NBA influence on race, social, just influence in general, power and fame, all of these themes of our lives that we don't really realize that we're kind of living vicariously through the celebrities in our Instagram feeds. But basketball players are maybe some of the biggest group of progressive, heroic figures in our lives. And so, yeah, the NBA has been through the historic, crazy couple of years that we've all been through. So it's hard to recalibrate things. But I think coming out of these last two COVID-filled, protest-filled, upside-down seasons, I think you'll see the NBA back, and I think you'll see all these superstars healthy again. And the NBA as a product is always going to be valuable. The NBA as a life force to inspire us all is only going to keep taking off.
Do you see it being a transition happening now with LeBron and them not being in the finals this year, them going out in the first round, a lot of young players really stepping up and taking on the mantle, I guess the attention mantle. What would you say as far as the NBA is concerned?
Yeah, I wonder if we'll look back or people will read my book in 10, 15 years and say, obviously the LeBrons, KDs, that whole banana boat crew of Chris and CP and D Wade and Melo are a bridge generation, right? Like they will be remembered as icons of the game, but they helped us get through COVID, through technology, through being more influential and important than some of our politicians at a time when we didn't really want to look up to several of them these last 4 years. And so it's great to see these guys on the come up, the D books, and Giannis as just a pure force of physicality is incredible, but also his come up is incredible. But I'm really excited about the next generation, right? These kids who said, screw the NCAA trying to make this for-profit prison off of my likeness.
Absolutely.
And screw their version of that too, right? I'm going to go to the G League and make $100,000, $200,000 and get a shoe deal. And so I think it's cool to see what the Bronny James of the world will do in the footsteps of the LeBron Jameses of the world. And so again, it's like a big recalibration. I think that's why you have history books, right? So that you can see the snapshot of time we were in. But yeah, the injuries have kind of helped expose people to mid-market teams that deserve some shine for sure. But I think we're headed toward a top-heavy couple of years as these big dogs come back. I think it's going to be, the cream rises to the top and everybody else is kind of screwed.
Fantastic. Look, the book is called Can't Knock the Hustle, straight out of Jay-Z. So tell me, Matt, where did that come from? Where did that title come from, and where did this book come from?
I think Jay-Z's spirit has been more a part of Brooklyn and more a part of basketball than sometimes we give credit for. He's obviously since moved to LA and kind of left his partial ownership behind. But I was always fascinated, even as a Knicks fan, right? As this brand was being built. And was it commodifying the idea of Brooklyn? Was it appropriating the people of Brooklyn? In either case, it was building up at the same time that the NBA was building up. And so I was in Brooklyn on the day that Adrian Wojnarowski calls, quote, the clean sweep. When it had been in the works for a while, as my book makes clear, but KD, Kyrie, DeAndre Jordan announced that they're coming to Brooklyn. I was walking my dog, nice fancy Brooklyn down the road from Barclays Center, and I run into my fellow Dookie, Jay Williams. And I'm looking at my dog's poop. And he's telling me, man, this team has got a lot of characters. He has an on-again, off-again friendship with KD. And, we were talking about how these guys have been reported to death and their backstories picked apart ad nauseum, but how there was more to them, a richer, fuller context that could be offered by something like a book. So I got to thinking about it, and my mentor at Esquire, the longtime editor-in-chief there, who's now my literary agent, David Granger, sent me an email that day, and the subject line was, somebody should write a book, ... And and the body was about the Nets starting today. Is Kyrie crazy? KD makes the great comeback. New ownership from Alibaba in China. Players who actually love playing in Brooklyn. Who's the best writer in the borough who likes basketball? And I give them a list of all my fancy writers that I edited at Bleacher Report and all through my fancy resume. But then I'm like, I could do this. I could use a break from the digital media grind and let me see if I can get access. So I knocked on the door. They kind of let me in. They gave me a press pass and said, okay, you can be like any other beat writer. You can ask weird questions, make friends, earn trust, and we'll stay out of your way. So I learned a lot in between.
Yeah, you sure did. So listen, this is R&R on Sports, and we're speaking with Matt Sullivan, the author of Can't Knock the Hustle. You got to go check this book out. Look, when we come back, we're going to get into some hot topics, namely, what were the Brooklyn Nets doing out during COVID? Why were they meeting out in L.A.? But nevertheless, we're going to get into it right after this break. Stay right there. This is R&R on Sports with Matt Sullivan. Talk to you.
3. Entering into 40, I still had the same 30 and below confidence.
B.
In a bar, in your own home.
C.
You just feel unseen. And it's like, wait, what happened? Like 2 days ago, I was the
3BC. 3 Black Chicks on the Kazukian Network.
Kazukian! We are back with Matt Sullivan, author of Can't Knock the Hustle. Man, if you have not checked out this book, do yourself a favor. Buy yourself one, and then buy one for your friend that you know loves hoops, specifically the Brooklyn Nets. Matt, we talking about this book. What is one thing that you found out about the Brooklyn Nets that no one knew and you have not said in any other interview to date? Yeah, think about it. Doom, 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 doom.
So Kyrie is sitting in a car.
Okay.
He's in a parking lot, a nondescript kind of, looks like a strip mall in Orange County, California. He's typing an Instagram manifesto. Wilson Chandler, his former teammate, is walking by. Well, must be talking to his lady or something. Goes in, sanitizes his hands, and goes into the gym. The gym is the Mamba Academy, Kobe Bryant's former gym.
Okay.
Kyrie is typing a manifesto. Something like, we're sick of all of the kumbaya bullshit.
Right.
We need our native, indigenous, black brothers and sisters need to take the power back. A real manifesto. And this is the day, flashback to the National Worldwide Blackout Day, where everybody had a black box in their IG post to show solidarity with the movement in some vague, brand-friendly kind of hashtaggery way. Kyrie sends this. He goes into the gym, and lo and behold, you've got this secret Nets World West gym, which is totally not allowed by the NBA in the middle of COVID protocols in early June when you're supposed to be back home in market at the practice facility, coaches wearing black rubber gloves
sheltering
and masks, and only so many people. Exactly. And so the Nets have Kevin Durant, fit as a fiddle, ready to go in the bubble. You've got Kyrie vibing with some players, thinking about some of the guys down in the bubble, the young guns. Are they going to come back next year? Are they not? It's basically Kyrie, KD, and their favorite players on the team hooping out in the open. That's crazy, to think that Kevin Durant, after all that Achilles recovery in June of last year, was ready to go in the bubble. And he wanted to go. He's a pure hooper, right? He at least wanted to go to cheer on his teammates, but the Nets doctor said, nah, we don't want you at 90%. So just to think how many forces were overlapping there, and just how small a world it is that these huge A-list stars can be sitting in a crappy parking lot, tapping out on their phone to millions of people worldwide, and then doing something so secret and so meaningful. It's been such a coalescing forces like that of hoops, COVID, activism, personality, celebrity, that I think we're still starting to see the product of and how it all materialized. And just looking back at it, like moments like that just kind of make me go, wow, we went through a lot.
We went through a lot in the last 2 years. Well, listen, this is R&R on Sports, and we're speaking with Matt Sullivan, author of Can't Knock the Hustle. Really chronicling the Brooklyn Nets going through this period of COVID, civil unrest, all that was going on with the NBA, the bubble, this guy got to see it front row center. A question that I have, many times throughout the book, when you talked about players getting together, there was always the prevalence or the presence of marijuana. How prominent is marijuana in today's athletic circles, specifically the NBA?
I mean, it's an open secret. I think.
I don't know, Matt. I don't know. I don't know if it's open secret to everybody.
I think big guys with big, bodies that are bruising in a sport that is physically difficult have described to me over many years, going back to a cannabis project I did at Bleacher Report, that the bodies need it. There are scientifically proven reasons that you would, use it medically. And I think it's okay to blaze when you've got such an intensely picked apart personal life, private life, and you need to relax after you've been working to the extremes of human athletic ability. The NBA is certainly more prevalent than some other sports leagues, although the NFL talk about bruising bodies that need this stuff.
Imagine.
I think it was interesting that low key during the pandemic transition, the NBA just stopped testing for weed. It's one of those things you kind of forget about. Certainly, some players here in Brooklyn were happy about that. But yeah, I mean, KD would come into Barclays Center to get his private runs in, on the main arena court, grab a couple rookies to help his Achilles recover and dunked all hell on him. And he would reek of weed. He and his boys would stink, but whatever. If that's how you hoop in the zone, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're not hooping in season and you ask your buddy to roll a couple joints for you and head down to the car like he did when I was over at his place, that's perfectly normal. I think the NBA, from the highest ranks of the Players Association to guys I was talking to in the locker room, frankly thought it was embarrassing that it took the NBA so long to kind of decriminalize this perfectly normalized drug and medicine to the point where Major League Baseball was out ahead of them on this.
Right. So, Josiah, do you think he knew what he was getting into when he bought this team? Because it seems like he has been very, very surprised by some of the things that have happened, but also it seems like he's been very, focused on making sure that the Nets stay a close-knit group. So how would you describe Josiah during this period, and would you say that what would you say his perspective is on the Brooklyn Nets going forward?
He's a cunning businessman, and so I think saw the balance of financial power in the NBA is interesting to him. He was fascinated. He thought it was almost, quote, socialist, right? Where you split the revenues 50-50 with the players.
Absolutely.
You're invested in them. It's a partnership, not an ownership, so to speak. Because the NBA calls them governors, right?
Right.
And yet he's this kind of dorky fanboy who grew up, identifies as Chinese, but grew up in private schools in the suburbs of America. And so he does this as kind of like to get his courtside seats.
Right.
And he got embroiled right from the beginning in this scandal where Daryl Morey sends this one tweet, pro-democracy at worst, right, to support Hong Kong protesters. And Josiah sends his own kind of Facebook manifesto about, we don't have to get into the intricacies of Chinese foreign policy, but neither did players. And yet he's kind of siding with the Chinese regime in a way that, some of his players felt was, even though they didn't quite understand the particulars, it felt un-American to them.
Right. Well, hold on before you keep going there. But I mean, talk about the fact that he has to have his feet one side in the Communist Republic of China, as well as one side in the Democratic Republic of the United States. So how does he balance that? And do you see him actively having any challenges trying to balance both sides of the water?
I mean, he's got to be the Secretary of State of the NBA. He knows that balancing act of the gigantic, the regime, but also the gigantic financial gains and, 350 million Chinese basketball fans. That's a windfall for the NBA, for Nike, for Turner, for ESPN on down the line. And so when this whole crisis was going down while the Nets and the Lakers were kind of stuck in a hotel room, not knowing whether they were going to play, whether they were going to talk, whether they were going to turn around and go home, whether they were going to be forced to talk about foreign policy they didn't understand. So Joe Tsai's kind of behind the scenes making sure to diffuse this situation. But you've got Adam Silver and this progressive league that's supposed to be out here on the culture wars. I think they got caught on their feet. And so Joe Tsai, who has these, strong nationalist perspective, he gets back to the States. The Nets are about to play their first home game after the China games went on. And there's this group of pro-Hong Kong protesters standing outside Barclays, just down the street from where I am now. They're hiding signs under their jackets because the NBA has regulations on the size of a sign. Even if it says Go Nets, it can only be a certain size. And so they were constructing this secret large sign that said Maury or money, getting Joe Tsai and LeBron to get their perspective straight. It was really the first, we forget about this because so much has happened. It's really the first mass demonstration politically inside an NBA arena in quite some time.
Right.
And Joe Tsai was really pissed off that they had these regulations of these signs, and his staff was saying, well, we know they're coming, we know what seats they're going to be in. It's kind of surveillance, according to some of those people. And so that makes it difficult for the Joe Tsais of the world to come to grips with the political machinations, the economic machinations that come with the NBA, because it's wrapped up in all of this, right? And so flash forward to the protests, and it's eerie. Joe Tsai, Asian American, there's been a lot of Asian American hate and violence going on as well. He was jogging during the pandemic in his Tony neighborhood outside San Diego, just going for his morning jog, and he got approached by two Caucasian drivers in a pickup truck following him. He slowed down, realized they were slowing down, turned around, went home. He has the privilege of being in a Tony neighborhood in San Diego and not jogging while black like Ahmaud Arbery, which happened a month later. But I think he started to connect. His wife is a great humanitarian, borderline activist, billionaire, Clara Wu Tsai. She's done a lot of great stuff with Jay-Z, Van Jones. And so they gave a lot of money, basically. And I think this is what I'm getting to. They gave a lot of money because they can, and that's great. But activists who were talking to them were saying, well, you can push for defunding the police. You can push for real change because you have to pick up the phone power and money.
Right.
But I think the activists were frustrated that Clara and Joe still need to have cops to defend their arena. And so owners are always caught in a bind, and they have to play both sides, which is where the players need to take the power back.
Right. This is R&R on Sports. We're speaking with Matt Sullivan. Can't Knock the Hustle. Phenomenal book. Look, we only got about a minute left, but one of the great things you do in this book, Matt, is you give a lot of context to these individuals. Kyrie, you really add to his personality, because typically we say he's crazy, this, that, and the other. You talk about KD, you get to see how confident he is, but you also get to see closely how emotional he is. But two people that I think you really gave a lot of context to was Spencer Dinwiddie. I did not realize this cat was this brilliant. So of all the people that you work with, while you were working with the Brooklyn Nets and working on Can't Knock the Hustle, who did you enjoy interviewing the most?
I really like getting to talk to Garrett Temple, who's kind of a quote-unquote role player, but I think could be a politician someday. He's kind of stuck in, does he engage with the more activist wing of NBA politics with Kyrie boycotting the bubble? He says, no, we have a better chance of breaking through to go to the bubble, make our voices heard. He's kind of a non-LeBron in that he doesn't have all those followers, but he wants to go do the work in the state houses with the connections, use that, pick up the phone power, but kind of know his role, right? Like he's not an activist. Maybe he'll be a politician, maybe he'll be a GM, but he can use his clout for good rather than just for retweets. And I think he's an example of how to kind of thread the needle while realizing the limits of activism, while realizing that Kyrie didn't want him back on the team in many ways because he wanted to go to the bubble and because of their politics, which is fascinating to show how much power these superstars really have. But I think it's the non-LeBrons who may be able to make the most impact behind the scenes, even as the Kyries of the world do great things kind of in secret as well. But once you shed that kind of, top layer of clout and the veneer and you get that unvarnished look of this thing, there's a lot of more Garrett Temples of the world and Spencer Dinwiddie's of the world who I think are going to push it forward, in the footsteps of the LeBrons and Kyries of the world.
Right. Well, listen, Can't Knock the Hustle. Go get the book. Matt, tell them where they can go get the book, where they can find more about you, and so on and so forth.
The best place to pick up the book is my publisher's website for HarperCollins. It's hc.com/thehustle. You can get any bookstore you like there, from gigantic corporations to your lovely independent booksellers. I'm on all social media as Sulduggery, SULLDUGGERY. A bad pun I'm stuck with for the rest of my life, but got plenty of anecdotes there and some excerpts on my site, which is matt-sullivan.org. Get a taste of the book and get out there and dive deep.
Listen, guys, check out the book. Can't Knock the Hustle. Great author, Matt Sullivan. Thank you for being on R&R in Sports, and know that you can come back anytime, especially on that next book on criminal justice. I love to hear about it. All right. Well, listen,
appreciate
guys,
you, man.
Thank you, Matt. Listen, guys, stay right there. We'll be coming out with our parting shots. Stay right there. Remember, Can't Knock the Hustle. Matt Sullivan. Pick it up.
3.
Entering into 40, I still had the same 30 and below confidence.
B.
In a bar, in your own home.
C.
You just feel unseen. And it's like, wait, what happened? Like 2 days ago, I was the
3BC. 3 Black Chicks on the Kazookian Network.
Welcome back to R&R on Sports as we head toward the door.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all our family.
Should have known some things never change.
M-I-C. See you real soon. K-E-Y. Why?
Because you sound pitiful.
Who you shouting out, man?
I don't have any shout.
I got a shout out.
Okay, no, before you get it, I want to shout out everybody. No, I tell you who I want to shout out. I want to shout out the essence of class and competitiveness, the most decorated American in the history of track. Her name would be Allison Felix.
Yes, sir.
That's who I want to shout out.
All right, go Alex.
Class
Alex.
act.
Alice.
Class act. And tremendous track athlete. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm shouting out the Lakers. I'm shouting out Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, and the King. I'm shouting out the King. Now listen here, homie. Both of y'all, Russell Westbrook and the King. Russell, you done got all these triple doubles, and everybody talking about you being an empty stat stuffer and all that. Listen, bro, no more excuses. This is put up time. You got one of the greatest teams ever assembled. We got 3, maybe 4, if not 5 Hall of Famers on this team. I don't want to hear it no more. I don't want to hear about age. Age don't mean nothing. Y'all been sitting out all summer. Y'all been chilling. Y'all been relaxing. So now it's time to make this thing happen. Russell, I'm expecting an MVP year out of you, brother. Because I believe if you average a triple-double this year and win the champ, I believe you will be MVP, which you should have been many times before, a couple times before.
I just want to be here the day that Russell knocks on the door and comes in here and smacks you. I just want to be here that day.
Really?
So we appreciate you being with us here.
Listen, don't forget, go to our podcast. If you missed anything or you want to hear some of our previous shows, go to your favorite podcast provider. Go download our app from the App Store, Google Play. Listen, we here. We got great shows. Check us out. If you miss any or you just want to hear it again, because I know you want to hear my singing. Now it's time to say goodbye to all our family.
Turn the mic off, Jeremy, please. Be back with us next week for more R&R on Sports right here on the Kazookian Network. Y'all take care of yourselves and each other. I'm Howard, and I'm out.
I'm Larry Robinson. Peace.
You've been listening to a little R&R on Sports, written and produced by Howard Robertson, Larry Robinson, recorded and mixed in Memphis, Tennessee.